better this week, it's important to have two things. There's intention and then there's specificity. I find too many people have intention, but they don't have specificity behind their goal. So someone will say, I just need to talk to more people. Okay, well, that's way too vague. How are we measuring that? This is where we actually want to set an intention. When I have my morning coffee, I will set a 30-minute timer and start a minimum of 20 conversations with people I haven't talked with yet. 20 people a day, 5 days a week. If it's a full-time job, that's 100 new people a week. That is the intention is I will have 100 new conversations this week. How will I do this? Specificity. 30-minute timer, start a minimum of 20 conversations with people I haven't talked with yet. And I will make sure to have no distractions during that time, asking yourself, how will I protect this time? Okay. So I like to think of things working all like batching your activities together. So don't try and do customer follow-up, content creation, and connections all at the same time. Lump your business into similar business activities. It will make you a lot more efficient. So when you're doing your connections and your conversations, lump it into, this is where I'm talking to new people. This is my new people conversation time. I'm not going to go get caught up talking to family, friends, existing customers. This is my new customer block time. And then you have a different block time where you're like, okay, I'm going to now go do follow-up. These are all people that have expressed interest, have responded back to me, have been a not yet. That's my follow-up time. And then I'm going to do my content creation, and then I have customer care. I want you to notice that these are different buckets, okay? Our work begins to feel overwhelming and inefficient when we're trying to do everything at once. And I want you to work in buckets and tell yourself, this is my time, because I feel like conversations, if you're not specific about the conversations, you will be on your phone for an hour or at your computer for an hour. You'll be like, yeah, I talked to people. But then if we were to inventory it, we would find out you talked the majority of your time with existing customers and you didn't talk to new people. So this is where you have to be like, this time is new people time, okay? There's different methods you can use to manage your time, but you can set a timer for 20 minutes, work efficiently, 10 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. I think that's called the Pomodoro method. All right. So now we're going to get to the nitty gritty, how to engage with new people. You guys ready? I'm going to show you how to do this with a large creator account on Instagram. Okay. So you want to find, chances are, if you're not on Instagram, that's okay. You could do this with Facebook groups. I find on Instagram, it's easier to do this. On Instagram, you want to make sure you don't have a private profile. You are set to public so people can easily glance at your feed, decide if they like you, decide if they want to get to know you. It's like having an open storefront. You want an open store sign, okay? So we want to find large creator accounts of where you just like engaging, where you like to be, and where your people like to be. So you go engage on the comments of a viral reel or post, ask open-ended questions, go engage on their stories. I'm going to flesh this out for you so you're not like, what does this mean? I found this account. Well, I've actually been following this account for a long time. I love the creator. It's called Magnus the Therapy Dog, and Brian is the creator owner, and he has this therapy dog that's absolutely amazing. Obviously, you can see he has 1.2 million followers. Okay, so I went to one of his biggest reels that had a lot of comments. Okay, had a lot of viral comments, and so. You can see here when the hotel doesn't allow pets, so you sneak in your child instead. Just kind of funny. Obviously, you can see people that clearly aren't pet owners that are going to be like, stay away, but look for somebody that's like, so right here, I circled Layla the boxer. Okay. So I looked over at Layla the boxer and I saw, oh, look, it's another large account where more people are hanging out. This is where you can engage. See, look, Princess Pam Pam 01, you can click on her profile and be like, oh, Princess Pam Pam, does she have dogs? You go snoop them out, but I'm going to give you an example here. So there's Layla the boxer. But from Layla the boxer, hold on. I think I had another one. I think I went to Layla the boxer's account and I saw that I found another account that was Jasper Golden Nugget. And here's what was great about Jasper. You could see Layla's account had 1.2 million followers, but what's great about Jasper's account is there's only 39,000 followers. So there's less noise and it's easier for me to engage with people. It's a smaller pool of people. Therefore, it might be easier to be seen in the room. So I go over to Jasper Golden Nugget and I snoop his profile and I learn a little bit about him. And I see like, this is cool. Jasper, if I'm prospecting, I'm like, this would be a great person to prospect. Am I going to go straight to their DMs and say, hi, you would be a great fit for Pottery? No, you have not earned that yet. You want to be on their radar first. So here's what I did. I looked at his reels and I saw this one had a decent amount of comments. And so what I did was I was like, cool, this is recent. Happy Friday, all about Labor Day weekend. And look at all these leads here. Fluffy butt designs, Gimme, Baffy, Rocky, Cindy Jean, all these people. So I'm actually going to go here. Jasper Golden Nugget. I'm going to show you how now I'm creating a large list of people for me to easily talk to. So let me look, there's another one. Porter the Golden Puppy. What's he got? Another smaller account, 43,000 followers. Cool. You can follow, get to know, be like, here, this is where you can kind of engage and say, you can talk to people on this. Let me see here. Who has a good one? Enjoying it with my grand dogs. Have a wonderful weekend as well. This is where you can say, haha, I have grand dogs too. Look, I'm responding to Corinne. Haha, I have grand dogs too. How many do you have? Okay, if you can see that in the bottom of the corner, notice how I'm starting a conversation with Corinne. I'm not going to post it because she's not my ideal person, but now I can get to know people here. Who's Sharon? Okay. Is Sharon ideal for me? No, because she doesn't have an open account. I know nothing about her, right? So this is how you this is prospecting, guys. This is where you want to spend time headhunting and be like, cool, who's all here? I'm going to go on the trail with Murphy and Moby. Guys, look at this. This is 1,100 followers. They have an open account, which means, look, adventures with their puppies, cool. Because they don't have a lot of engagement, me coming in here and being like, look, this is just how you do it. What beautiful scenery with your pup. My dogs, I'm actually going to post this one because I'm not weirded out about it. Dogs, my dogs would love that. Cool. What we've just done is we've put ourselves on, look, Kristen Boss says, what beautiful scenery with your pup. My dogs would love that. And then you can follow them. This is a person I would make a point of liking and commenting and engaging on their stuff regularly. What happens then is they're going to go to my account and see here. This is where you kind of look at people's stories, get to know them and those things. So friends, hold on here. There we go. Do you see how this is the rabbit hole of endless leads that you can talk to? You're never out of leads. I won't hear it. You can create a list, and every single person that engages back with you, you write down and be like, cool, they responded. They're going on my leads list. I'm going to make sure to engage with them consistently. I'm going to ask them questions. And if you are following my formula of posting 5 to 7 stories a day, talking about your coffee, how you're preparing your puppy food, your treats, how you go about your life, all those things. Let's actually see. No, we're not going to do that. But also, if you could see how there's this pink ring about around Jasper Golden Nugget, that means he has a recent story. So click on that and go engage with their stories. Because when you go and engage on their stories, it shows up in their messenger. And it automatically starts conversation, friends. This is how you get to know people. This is how you constantly build leads. So each day, work on building names of new people you connect with. And it doesn't have to, guys, I don't want like 100 people from Pottery to suddenly go and like blow up Magnus the therapy dog's posts. Like this was just an example. And I want you to think of like, I want you to think of your other hobbies that connect you to other people in a really organic way. Like, for example, maybe you are a sourdough person. Go follow a large sourdough account. Talk to other people in the sourdough community. Go talk to them. Maybe you are actually, guys, drop me some of your hobbies in the comments. Drop me some of your hobbies. Yeah. Jeeping, oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, there's got to be jeeping, paddleboarding, kayaking, cooking. Okay, cool. Guys, all of those that you just put down are hashtags. Every single one of those, especially let's do paddleboarding. I'm going to show you an example of this. I don't think, am I sharing my screen anymore? I don't think I am. Okay,
No.
paddleboarding. Paddleboarding. We'll do sup dog. Oh my gosh, there's whole accounts for this. All right, sup dogs. No, that's not what we want. That is a beer fraternity brand. But what you want to do is if you go Jeeping community, Jeep Life, that's a good one. We'll do Jeep Life. There are so many people, Jeep Life, hashtag Jeep Life. That's where you can find, hold on here. You want to go on your explore page, sure.
Are you
Like,
sharing, Kristen?
I'm not sharing yet. Sorry. I'm still trying to, I'm still searching. So it makes sense. Hold on here. Jeep.
Can I say something while you're searching?
Sure. Yep.
So Jeeping, all of you guys know, my Jeep was paid for by Pop Earrings. It's been around for since 2019. And what Kristen is talking about, I'm like dying inside because this is exactly how I built my community in the last 4 years when COVID hit was Jeeping became such a big hobby for me that all of them also have dogs. So I brand my Jeep when I go on the trails and people are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to follow you." And they all have dogs. So they follow me and become friends with me because of Jeeping. And they're all like, "Oh, this is what you do." And it's a big thing because it works for me and I get to meet Jeep people and all their dogs on the trails. So I just love that Kristen, you're talking about this because I'm like been screaming this forever. So thank you.
Yeah. You're
Kristen,
so welcome.
could I share another quick
Yes,
insight?
please.
So if any of you are sitting there thinking, well, that works for Elka because Jeep people are dog people, but my hobby is playing the baritone sax or whatever. I promise you, 2/3 of every one of the people who have the hobbies you have also have pets.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you live, what your hobbies are, what your age is, what your gender is. 2/3 of all households in America, and it plays out everywhere. So just don't let that also, get you down a bad rabbit hole of going, yeah, but I don't have a good hobby. That if you have any hobby, 2/3 of the people who share your hobby will have pets.
Yeah. And the goal of it, guys, is to connect on a human level so that conversations feel organic. This is why I say to connect with people through your hobbies because it helps conversations flow. But when you're just trying to talk to random strangers and you don't know what you have in common, it becomes a very awkward, clunky conversation instead of like, well, if I'm in a Jeeping community, I could talk about Jeeping all day long. I could be like, where's your favorite place to go? Where are your favorite trailheads? And guess what? You can say, where's dog friendly? Because when I Jeep, I bring my dogs. And automatically, instead of saying, do you have pets? It allows that person to be like, oh my gosh, I have dogs too. Here's where I love to go. Or it doesn't matter. What matters is like, where is it most natural for me to just be myself? Because when I'm myself, it's not weird. Have you noticed that, guys? When you are yourself, it's not weird. It's when you try to be somebody you're not and then try to like shove a pitch in there somewhere. It's like shoving a square peg in a round hole. And this is when people say sales feel weird. It feels clunky. I'm like, because you're going to the wrong places and you're not being yourself. Go in rooms where it's easy for you to talk to people. And then what happens, guys, is when you are talking, life comes up. What do you do? Do you take your dogs on? Are you a pet person? Do you take your dogs with you? Or when you guys are talking back and forth, they start seeing your content. And when you are talking about how pottery is an amazing pairing for your lifestyle and what you like to do, or how it funds your hobbies, suddenly your friends are like, okay, wait, that's pretty cool. Of course, you get to Jeep more often, or hike more often, or paddleboard more often because you have a remote job and you also do it this way. Okay, I want to hear more. Or they start snooping you, friends. This is why I said 5 to 7 stories a day is critical. Every week I go, and that's actually the first place I look on your spreadsheets to be like, are they showing up in their stories 5 to 7 a day, because that is the most organic place to sell. Because people going to, and by the way, I want to affirm this as well. If you have 1,000 followers and only 50 people on your stories, the math is mathing, because statistically about 5% of your total community will actually go and look at your stories. You can have drama about that. What that's telling me is you have a captive audience in your stories. And you can grow that percent by becoming somebody who tells fun stories or shares valuable things. If you want people to go to your stories, give them a reason to go there, being like, Jeep Adventures in my stories, go here. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to share the screen of this Instagram account I found that I think would be great to teach this. So we're just going to go with the Jeeping example. Every week, I don't mind finding a different example of the most obscure hobby. You can have the most obscure hobby and it doesn't have to stop you. So I just looked up Jeep life and this girl popped up. She's got about 30,000 followers. But here I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. You can get to know her for, maybe a young Gen Zer that's on here. But because she doesn't have a huge account, 30,000 followers, it's easy to be seen on her account. She'll be notified when she sees you. So I'm nervous to go on her stories. Let's just go on here, because you just never know what people are showing. So here she's sharing in her stories. So if you were to say right here, this is an amazing picture. Where is this? Look at that. That's an organic conversation. If I were to send that, it immediately goes into her private messenger, into her message box, and a organic conversation starts to happen. Because as soon as she says where or whatever, but you have to, by the way, make sure to follow her before you send a message, because otherwise that message will show up in her spam. But take serious interest in people and you might be amazed at what happens, right? So here, you're just getting to see her stories. Look at how she's sharing her own adventures. This is what you're doing. And then she has highlight bubbles where she has the stories shared, okay? And obviously, look, this tells me, oh, she's actually already conditioned to sell online. How do I know this? Because she has a shopping link right here. She's a perfect candidate. If she had a dog, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put her on my hot leads list. I'm going to put her on my top 100 and I'm going to keep engaging with her. This is prospecting. Do you all understand now a little bit more about how prospecting looks? And we're not just grabbing random people. We're looking for qualified leads. Is their account open in public? Are they already sharing on social media? Do we have things in common with each other? If they already have a shopping link up there, even better. It means they're conditioned to sell in the online space and they're not going to have any drama around it. Okay. So I feel like this, how specific and actionable I got with this should give everybody tangible tools to be excited about the infinite conversations you can be having this week. Infinite. This is how you fill the top of the funnel, friends. It's so easy.
This is so awesome, Kristen. This is so actionable. I have a question I'm going to read from Melody Windsor, which I think is a good clarifying question, because we say in our tracker, we say to start 10 new conversations per day, and then they track that. Did they get 70 or more per week, right? And the question is, the 10 new conversations, are they the first connection, not necessarily sharing about pottery yet, is the question?
If I was to look at I'm gonna look at the spreadsheet and see how you guys have it. How do you have it spliced out yet? Okay, new conversations. Yeah. So ideally, I like to think of it as your initial connections that doesn't count towards conversations, because that's just you starting. You don't know how many people are going to respond back. So conversations is people that there's been engagement back and forth with. And ideally, pottery has come up. Okay. So, but if you are having, guys, I've handed you the key to the kingdom of how to have infinite conversations. So with this, it should be easy, especially as you are working full time. If you are doing a lot of connections, remember you saw me demonstrate connections. My pup would love it there. Where is this? That's a connection. When they respond and we talk back and forth, tell me about your hobbies. What are your likes? What are your interests? Now we're in conversation. And as soon as I get to know, like, hey, is there pain? Is there interest? Do you have pet owners? Have you ever considered partnering with a pet company to earn commissions, talking about food that you love feeding your pet? No, I hadn't. This is what I'm doing. Conversation one, boom. The more conversation, the more connections you have, the more easy it becomes to create conversations later.
I
Okay.
love that, Kristen, and I love the example that you just shared and making it specific that really pottery does need to come up to count it in the conversation, because we
Yes.
could all kind of play office all week long and have all kinds of conversations, but if we don't ever bring up pottery, we're not actually moving the business forward. But what I love about what you just shared is that doesn't have to come up in the first
Yes.
interaction. That could, I mean, a conversation, you could get, 10 steps down in a conversation in an afternoon with somebody if they're engaging back and forth on social media, right? So this doesn't have to take 3 months to bring up pottery.
It
So I
doesn't.
think it's
Mm-mm.
very actionable. Everything you're sharing is extremely actionable.
Yes. I was going to say that as well. Like, remember, guys, in the beginning, you're filling the funnel, which means you have a lot of fledgling conversations happening. And the timing of those conversations look different with each person. But the more you put in the top of the funnel, the higher statistically you have of a percentage of those conversations finally coming down to talking about pottery. Does that make sense, guys? That's why it's so important to constantly be filling the top of the funnel. It's also important why you should be creating content, because if you're going and talking to people and then they go to your profile and see that you don't post anything, you're not really social, or anything you do post is coupon codes or sales graphics, immediately in their mind they're like, "Oh my gosh, they just want to sell me pet food." That's why they're talking to me. You want them to go to your profile and be like, "I like this person. I want to get to know them. This is great. Oh, and they sell pet food." There's a difference. You don't want to be known as like, you are not a product. You are a brand. You are a brand. You're a representation of the product. But if somebody can go to your profile and you look like a product, they write you off. You have got to be a person first. You've got to be a human first. And I feel like that's maybe the theme of today, from how we talked, like just some help I gave some Pauline, being like, hey, we got to start as a people. We got to acknowledge them as a person first, friend first, trust first, conversations first, have content that draws them in, has them curious, be posting in your stories, because that's where they're going to get to know you once they see you engaging on their stuff, right? Guys, the reason why I mentioned the big account is not for you to engage on the big account creator. It's for you to find all the smaller accounts that like that account. And the smaller accounts, you have higher visibility with them. It's easier to build rapport and trust. And also, I find like the sweet spot is like, if actually there's no sweet spot, just talk to people. Because I was like, if I said that, they might overthink that. So let me see if there's any other questions. Does anyone know how a post can have no reach numbers but have engagement numbers? No, that seems weird, because if you have engagement, then you have reach. That might be a flaw. That might be a tech flaw. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Should you have a separate Instagram account for your pottery business? No. Use your personal account. Remember, you're a person first. You're a person first, right? Pottery has its own company Instagram account. Let that be a third-party tool. You are you. Do not start a separate Instagram account, because people relate to a person first. Okay? Great question. A lot of people always ask that. Let's see here. Any other questions you guys see? Anything I didn't cover? Does everybody feel confident in taking action this week? And I hope you feel excited having conversations. I hope I stripped all of the awkward out of it, all of the fear out of it, because if I was to just say, hey, go talk to people that have the same interests as you, that's not weird. Be like, cool, I could talk all day to somebody, right? If you haven't been posting on Instagram, do we need to start doing that? Wouldn't that help? Yes, it would be ideal. Yes. How much time do you think we should set for each set of things? I feel like the conversations will take more time to find people than actually make the connection. Yes, the prospecting time is going to take time. Like, have you guys ever panned for gold? Like, I'll never forget the first time we panned for gold. He's like, oh, you're just going to take this little thing of dirt, and this one thing of dirt, you might sift through this one pan for 4 hours. That's okay. You're learning to mine for gold, but have boundaries on it, right? So you're going to say, for the next hour, it is a prospecting hour, and I'm going to build a solid list. Guys, don't start the engagement the same time you're prospecting. What I want you to do is I want you to just start writing down the names and the handles. So we're prospecting first. Cool. That's our batch. We're going to stay in that focus, drink some caffeine, put on some tunes, have fun with it. And then you take that list, boom, cool. Now we're moving to engagement time. I'm going to power down this list and I'm going to go engage on at least 2 or 3 posts of each person. So I don't show up once. I show up multiple times in their notifications that I was a conversational person. Guys, 2 or 3 engagements on a brand new account, because then they're getting a ping every time. Kristen boss engaged, Kristen boss engaged, Kristen boss engaged. And if every comment is meaningful and sincere, they're like, this human's a cool human. And our human curiosity cannot help but want to go and sleuth you out. Okay, so that's your engagement time. And then from there, guys, as you've worked down the funnel, you're going to notice that with time, you're going to eventually have a big conversation bucket with people that have responded to you. And then from your conversation bucket, you're eventually going to have a sales bucket. Do you see how we start building the funnel as we go with consistency and compounded efforts? But we can't build the funnel if you quit every Tuesday. Okay? I'm going to wrap it with that. Sounds like we really helped some people get some clarity here. Roger, is there anything you want to add?